can't believe we are at Tuesday, December 9th already. We are well into the holiday season, so I hope all of you are enjoying the holiday season. I know it can be a little bit crazy and a little bit stressful. I hope it's not those things for you, and that you're finding a way maybe to self-soothe with a little bit of creativity and making jewelry and just enjoying the festivities of the season. I'm Deb Floros. Today I am not live, unfortunately. This is another Beadahlique class, but I'm not live today. Unfortunately, I can't be live today, but I do have some fun things for you. So let's get the business out of the way first. So if you are aware, or maybe not, Beadahlique is closing its doors. And so right now, we are just giving you as much content as we can, and we're getting as much product in front of you as we can, so you don't miss out on some of the beautiful things that you love from Beadahlique.com. So Julie and I are doing 3 lives a week. I come visit you on Tuesdays. Julie is here on Mondays and Thursdays. So we hope that you are enjoying our content, and we are certainly open to suggestions if you have ideas of things you'd like to see or do. So today I'm going to be making bead and connector earrings. You know that everything on the site is 40% off. So it's a great time to grab all of the things you need to make earrings, have fun with some earring making, and everything else. So everything on the site is on sale at 40% off. No coupon code needed, no special handshake, no nothing. And if you're watching at beadahlique.com/live, you can shop while you watch. So while I'm showing you some cool earring designs, some fun ideas for earring making today, you can shop the show and you don't have to leave the show. So if you're at beadahlique.com/live, or you're watching on the website, that is the best way to shop the show, because there's a little shopping bag icon. You can click on that at any time. Don't be afraid. I don't go away. The show doesn't go away. But you can click on that, learn more about the products, and take those products and put them into your shopping cart, which is pretty fun. And know that if you're watching on YouTube or Facebook, we love that you join us there, but we can't see your comments live. So if you're watching at beadahlique.com/live, that's the best place to chit chat with the moderators today. There are live moderators today on the show. So if you have questions or want to chit chat with them or with the other folks that are on the show today, feel free to do that at any time, because you can. And yeah, I'll be back live next week for a fun class. But let's go ahead and flip the camera down. Let's make some earrings, shall we? Okay, everyone, so here are the tools I'm going to be using today. I think this is all I'm going to need. These are in the shopping bag. So if you guys are looking for a great deal on tools, again, everything is in closing sale mode. So tools are going to be really, really a great deal. So I'm going to set those off to the side. And let's make some earrings. So the first earrings I want to make are with these. These are, let's see, 31 by 26 millimeter antique silver textured diamond shape chandelier components. So they have 4 loops. So, you know, traditionally what you would do is attach to an ear wire up here, and then you've got 3 loops to work with at the bottom. I fell in love with these beads. These are 8 millimeter check fire polish fuchsia, and they are absolutely spectacular. So they're kind of a red pink. Now, fuchsia is typically somewhere in between pink and red. I would call these a little bit more red. So let's open this strand up. Let's cut this one. When it's on the mat, to me, it looks a little bit more pink, but I think it's a reddish pink for sure. Now, what I'm going to do is just so simple, but This is such a popular earring style. It really is. It's just so, you know, so classic, so easy. And with components like this, I mean, you really can't go wrong. These are just kind of a hammered vibe. So they're not completely smooth, but that gives them some interesting dimension. So I'm going to add my fire polish to a ball end head pin. And I'm just going to do some easy wire wrapping. And I'm going to create my loop and then open up that piece. And then I'm going to just drop it on to that bottom loop. Now, these are kind of chunky loops. So just something for you to think about when you're creating an earring or you're adding something to a piece like this. Make sure that your loop is going to be large enough to go around that, you know, chunky loop that's on the piece. Always check your loops. It's just good practice to do that. So we're gonna add all three of the same color here, but there's so much opportunity for design here. So you could do different colors of your fire polish beads. So you could do, you know, a few different colors. You could do 3 colors, or you could do like one bead in the center that's a different color than the other 2. Just, you know, options. And I'm checking to see where I ended on the last piece. And let's see how that's looking. So you can see you're just getting some really beautiful, bright, you know, faceted, colorful beads. This is a great color for the holidays. Still time to get holiday things to you and holiday things made. I know you all are probably gearing up for the holidays. So there's still time to do that and time to get some great deals here at Beadahlique.com. So let's see. Didn't get that loop quite as nice, but I'm going to hold on to that guy and wrap that around. More design ideas. So you could come in with different sizes of beads. So these are 8s, but you could do 6s. You could do 4s. 3s might be a little small here, and 4s are certainly small as well. But if you just want some interesting, you know, some interesting looks, those are definitely different things, different sizes that you could use. Now, I've got some teardrops in the show as well today. I'm going to be working with those in just a little bit here. So if you want to add a different shape, there is certainly opportunity to use teardrops or cubes. You know, other shapes would certainly work as well. So get this guy trimmed off. And let me come around with my chain nose and clean this up. You know what? That's a bad one. We're going to start over with that one. We didn't get off to a good start on that guy. So anyways, you can do different shapes, different sizes, and, you know, different beads. So they don't have to be fire polish beads either. So they can be gemstones. A gemstone bead would be really beautiful with this finding. So, you know, you want to just go with a little, I think I put some varicosite into the show. That would be really beautiful. I like that with sterling silver or a silver tone. That would be really beautiful. And I'm not sure what other stones we still have available on the site, but certainly some gemstones always would look nice with this kind of a vibe. So pick your beads, pick your pattern. Another idea for you, just to shake it up a little bit, is if you've got some chain. So let me just wrap this really quick. If you've got some chain, so, you know, probably like a 3mm chain at most, 3mm links. You could do, I'll show you, hang on. You could do a bead in the center here and then do a piece of chain, attach it here, and it would loop down around your bead. So that's another design kind of way to do this component. And I bet there's a few of you that are sitting there thinking, well, there's a lot of void space in that little component. What if we wrapped some beads in there? So you could coordinate your dangly beads. So the beads that you're dangling off of your loops. And then you can, you could take some beads and grab some like 24, 26 gauge wire and do some wrapping of beads in that center. So that's another design idea for you. And let me just tighten that guy up. And this is just classic chandelier style. Nice pop of color, nice pop of sparkle. I'm just going to grab these ear wires. I'll tell you guys, ear wires are getting very scarce on the Beadahlique website. So everything that I chose was sold out except for a couple options. So this one is definitely sold out. But I'm going to use these because this is what I've got my hands on at the moment. So I'm just putting these on a simple ear wire. You can pick your favorite ear wire and pop these chandelier pieces on. And you've got the most beautiful, I mean, beautiful earrings, beautiful jewelry doesn't have to be complicated. So look at these beautiful earrings. It's all about those gorgeous fuchsia beads and these beautiful bright silver components. So pretty. So there's our earring number 1 today. And I'm going to put these, I've still got plenty of these beads. I could make a matching bracelet with that. That would be super fun. I also, let's do another pair. I also love connectors. If you haven't figured that out already, if you've watched me for any length of time, you probably know I'm a big connectors fan. So these are 11mm brushed silver-plated Bali style or Bali style disconnectors. And this is a 10-piece pack. These are great for so many things, but I love the idea of these for an earring. And since you've got 10, there's lots of possibilities here. So let's start with grabbing our head pins again. And these are actually, I think these are in the show. These are a 2-inch 22 gauge ball end head pin. Pretty standard for me to work with these. I love working with these. They're really nice, nice little head pins. Now I've got a bold color for you. This is gorgeous. This is a suede gold lame. This is a check round bead in 8mm, and that gold lame is divine. Now, it is the holiday time, so, you know, if you like silver and gold together, this is so cool. But I love this color going on into spring and beyond because it is kind of a yellowy gold, in my opinion. So I'm gonna cut my strand here, and here's what I'm gonna do with this one. So this is gonna be a fun, simple little earring. And look at the sizing of these two things together. So you've got your little disc connector, and these are 11mm, and the beads are 8mm. So I'm gonna come in again with my round nose pliers, and I'm going to create a loop. And I want my loop again to be big enough that it will achieve getting through this loop here. Now, if you are not comfortable wire wrapping directly onto a component, so we just wire wrapped onto this, and we're wire wrapping now onto this component. If you're not comfortable with that, you can come in with you can do your wire wrap. So you can wire wrap your bead, and then you can add a jump ring and add to the component with a jump ring. Now, I'm not crazy about how much space I had there, so it almost created a little bit of a coil up there. So I'm going to try to cinch that up a little bit. And this bead has a little bit of a finicky finish. So you do kind of have to be careful. I have kind of scuffed it a little bit with my tool, but know that if you want to just do your wire wrapped bead and then add with a jump ring, you most certainly could do that. So here's one, and then here is our other one. And this is another just simple earring. Now, I don't know about you guys, I pay a lot of attention to jewelry out there in the marketplace. I follow just about every designer that exists out there in the world. And I'm always kind of scouting out what might be selling and popular. So looking at trends, and I noticed that we're still sort of in that simplistic trend. So, if you're shopping at a big box store, jewelry store, or a department store for jewelry, you might see that things are very still in the very simple mode. And I did scuff that up a little bit. I'd probably do jump rings with this if I'm honest here. So let's push these off to the side. So here's a simple look. So we've got these two pieces with our components. Now, here's what's going to make them special. So these are kidney ear wires. And these are big ones. These are a 47mm earring finding, a kidney wire, and it's a 10 piece. So you get basically enough to make 5 pairs of earrings. Let me tell you that every time I wear a pair of earrings with these big kidney ear wires, I get compliments. They make magic. They add so much fun. They just make an earring extra dangly, and they're just extra big. And I don't know, it's hard to describe it. Every time I wore a pair of earrings that I had made on Thanksgiving, when we went out to dinner for Thanksgiving. And I had so many people stop me because they thought these earrings were so spectacular. So adding this little piece onto this very big and exaggerated ear wire is pretty cool. So I'm going to take my chain nose and I'm going to tighten up that loop so that my piece does not come out and slip out of there. So that's kind of one thing I always like to do with these. And then it actually does skew that little kidney ear wire hook a little bit. So holding on to my piece, I'll bend that back down so that my ear wire can hook nice and easy in there. And then you still might have to come in and pinch your loop just a little bit more. Oops, a little bit again. So this is such a pretty and easy design. And I'm going to show you one more idea here for these. So let me take this other one, and you just slide them right on to that, that little hook. And sometimes it's tricky to get it on there, which is kind of good because that means it's going to be hard to come out too. So I'm going to come in with my bent chain nose and then holding on to that piece. I'm going to bend that a little bit backwards so that it is parallel and will allow me to close it up. So these earrings you could put on a normal ear, on a, you know, a regular size ear wire, these, you know, and just, they would be a little small drop. That would be equally as beautiful. You've got this textured disc that is so lovely. And then you've got, you know, you've just got a really cool, you know, bead that is a little luminous, pretty color. But when you put them on these, they're just like elevated, like an extra element here. So, something I did not add to the show, which maybe whoever is moderating today, I've got some 24 gauge wire. If there isn't any 24 gauge wire in the show, if you could add some 24 gauge wire, if there is any 24 gauge wire left, I don't know, maybe that's a challenge, but I'm gonna come in and I cut off about 4 inches of wire, and I'm gonna create a loop and just do a few wraps up around the top of my loop like that. And then I'm going to cut off my excess, and then I'm gonna put on one of my gold lame ear beads, and then grab my round nose pliers. I'm going to leave my loop open, and then I'm going to attach to the disc. So this is just a variation of what you can do here. So I'm just going to do a couple of wraps around there and trim off my excess. So now I've got a link and a link. So like this or like this, you've got lots of possibilities here. Now I'm gonna grab my, my head pin, and I'm gonna quickly just clean up my end here on my wrapped bead like that. And I'm going to grab the head pin, and I'm going to, let's see, I've got possibilities here. So I can add another bead below this bead, or I can add a bead to this, which I think that's what I'm going to do, is I'm going to add it to the disc. And again, if you want to add, you want to create your loop, wire wrap loop, and then attach to the disc with a jump ring, you could certainly do that. Either way, whatever you are comfortable with. I like the look of less jump rings. It just makes it look a little bit cleaner. But if you use a small enough jump ring, it should look just fine. I just would be careful of how big your jump ring is. So here's what our piece is going to look like. Super fun, super easy. And you could come in and add this to your kidney ear wire, which would make this extra dramatic. Or you could add to your simple French hook ear wire. So I'm going to come in and tighten up that guy a little bit. And then push and pull that down a little bit. And probably want to come in one more time and tighten that guy up. Just want to get that to hold together there. So now you've got a variation of this piece. So remember, you get 10 of these little discs. So maybe you make a pair of these for you, and maybe you make one for a friend, and you've got semi-matching earrings, you know, the same components, same pieces and parts, but just different variations of it. Another thing I like to do, I don't have any chain in the show today. Chain is getting pretty scarce, but another thing I like to do is I like to hang these from chain. So what you could do is add your chain to your loop here, and then attach your chain with a jump ring onto this. So let me see if I can kind of recreate it here. So you could do something like this. So you would have a piece of chain, and then one of these, and then a bead. And then you could do another piece of chain and do a bead, and do one of those and another bead. And then you could stagger the lengths of the chain so that nothing is kind of bumping into each other. So you can play around with these ideas of, you know, maybe you add a couple of beads and then your link and then another bead. So just play around with these ideas, and keeping in mind that until you close this up, and even after you close it up, you can play around. You can add and test and see how everything lays. You know, just there's so many possibilities here. So let's put our little discs away. I love these, you guys. These are fantastic. They're really nice quality. They look really high end. And again, with all of the simplistic jewelry that's out there, that finish on there just looks so nice. So there's just so many possibilities, and I wouldn't walk away from my cart without adding some of these, because these are just magical. I'm serious. Every time I wear a pair of earrings with those kidney ear wires, I get compliments. They're just noticeable. They're just, you know, really unique. And the metal itself is not heavy. So if you're thinking about, you know, you don't want a heavy earring, the earring isn't going to be heavy because of the ear wire. So just as a little side note there. So what about these components? So let me see if I can open this package. Sometimes the packaging is deceiving. These are pretty cool. These are, they are 28 by 17 millimeter arched connectors in rhodium plating. And they are double-sided, so they're rounded. So they're not flat on one side. They're just all a nice rounded component. So they're the same on both sides. They have a little ball detail, but they have a loop and loop up top and two loops at the bottom. Now, a couple different things that you could do here. You could, like we talked about chain. I wish I had some chain, but you could attach chain up top and then just dangle one bead below. Or you could do beads dangling from here. We're going to try something. So I'm not sure exactly how this is going to work, but I'm going to give it a shot here. So I'm going to trim off about 4.5 inches of 24 gauge wire. And I'm going to create a loop at one end. And I'm going to put that loop directly on to my loop on the component. So again, making sure this is a pretty chunky loop, pretty chunky, right? So you want this to move freely. So I'm going to put that loop on, and then I'm going to try to get a hold of that. And it's not the best hold, but I'm going to get a few wraps around. Sorry if you guys can't see that. So I've got a few wraps around my loop there, and then I'm going to grab my cutter and cut off my excess. And 24 gauge is going to allow me to have a pretty bendable component here. So I've got some more pretty beads to work with. I've got these guys. I'll bring these up to the camera in just a second. I've got two different beads here. I've got this gorgeous 4mm check round. It's in fuchsia, so I was a little obsessed with fuchsia, but check it out. These were fuchsia and these are fuchsia. They look very different to me. This is a lighter fuchsia, in my opinion, more of a kind of English rose kind of fuchsia. And then these, oh my goodness, are so gorgeous. These are check teardrops. They're milky light something. I don't have the full description, but I'm sure the moderator will put the actual product link up top so you can link to it. But look at this delicious color. The ring light is just causing it to be a little bit too weird, but these are absolutely spectacular beads. They are so beautiful. So I thought we would do a little something here. So I've still got a few of my head pins. So I'm going to start by putting one of my teardrops onto a head pin. And I'm going to do a wire wrap loop on this one. And I'm just going to give myself a couple of wraps around that bead. Get that loop nice and secure, and then trim off my excess. And then what I'm going to also grab are some seed beads. And I've got, oh, where did I put them? Welp, I had some sitting right here, and now they have run away on me. Oh, here we go. Okay. So here are my nickel 11-0 seed beads. These, I believe, are in the show. They were still in stock when I put the show together. This is my favorite standard color to work with, and they match back nicely to just about any color of silver. So, so this is a great color to work with and to add as spacers and accents to all of your pieces. I also want to trim open my strand of these fuchsia beads too. So here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to add an 11-0. I'm going to add a round. So right onto my wire, like that. And then another seed bead. And I haven't tested this out yet, you guys. So we're kind of gonna see how this goes. I think I can do another seed bead. And I'm gonna add my teardrop. So just getting a look of how this might hang. So we're creating a loop at the end of the component, basically, or a crescent at the end there. So adding another round, adding another seed bead, adding another round. I love these two beads together because as I look at these teardrops on my mat, they kind of have a pinkish vibe to them, or maybe they're just pulling the pink over to them. I don't know what's happening, but it's pretty cool. All right, so we've got our little crescent of beads there. Now, because this is 24 gauge wire, I should be able to still manipulate it once I get it connected on the other side. Here's how I'm going to do this. So I'm going to create, I want to give myself a little bit of space in between that bead because we are bending this wire and I don't want the beads to be pressed too hard against each other so that you know, they don't crack. So now I'm going to put this end through my component and attach that loop to the other side. So I'm like that there. And then I'm going to make sure I've got a little bit of a loop there. That's not the prettiest loop ever, but that's all right. And I'm going to push my wire through. And I'm just going to do a couple of wraps around. And then I'm going to trim off my excess. And I'm going to need to come back in with my bent chain nose there. So now I've got this little piece that I can, so I'm straightening that, or I'm getting it shaped the way I like it. So it's just hanging like a little pretty little dangle there. So pretty. These colors are so good together, you guys. Oh my gosh. So what I also love about these colors is these really can be any time. So they can be applicable to any season. So I know we're in winter now, but it's just, this is a beautiful color combination regardless. So if you've got a nice winter floral shirt that you're going to be wearing, or you've got a spring t-shirt with lots of pretty flowers on it, this is a great piece. Now you could come in with your kidney ear wires, or you can come in with these if you've got these handy, or any other kind of ear wire you might have handy. Now, I'm not certain that this component is going to actually nestle in this ear wire nicely. Oh yeah, actually I think it will. I'm not sure until I actually try it. So look at that pretty. Oh my goodness, that is such a lovely little earring. So think about this with all different kinds of beads, different colors of beads. You could do this in a much smaller scale. So if you've got seed, you could do all seed beads, and you could do one bead as a drop, like a round bead. You could do cube beads. You could do all kinds of pretty shapes, some English cuts, you could do gemstones, but these two colors look so pretty together. So I'm kind of loving that. So in order to give you all my other ideas, guys, I'm checking the time here. I'm going to set aside these beads. I'll create my second one after the show. And I can always show you guys my pieces after the fact. Let me make sure I have the bag for these guys. I'm going to leave the seed beads on the table because I might work with those. These are truly a beautiful shade of bead, and you get so many on this strand. It's a nice long strand of these 4mm beads. They're just beautiful. I really love this color so much. Okay, so we've got one more of those and an ear wire. I'm going to put those into the bag here so that I can make one more of those earrings for myself. Love those. And so you guys can see the finished piece. Now, I fell in love with these, and I thought these would be an amazing New Year's earring. These are super dramatic and super fantastic, and they are connectors. So these are called crimped fan connectors, and they are 29 by 22 millimeter, and they are double-sided. So they've got this crinkled metal. They're not heavy. They're a nice kind of, they feel nice, but they're not like flimsy, but they're not heavy either. So we've got a hole up top and a hole at the bottom, and they are just ripe for doing something with. So I found some cool beads that I thought would look great for holiday. These are also teardrops, and these are an absolutely spectacular color. So look at these. Oh, these are gorgeous. So they are check teardrops. They have a vertical hole, and they're 9 by 6 millimeter ruby AB. So they are a beautiful ruby red with part AB finish on them. I thought these were great for like if you had some red nail polish and some red lipstick. Now, you could just do a single bead here and they would be dramatic. So you've got the texture of these components, you've got the AB and the red of the beads, but you have some design choices here. So you could put them this way if you wanted, and you could put your beads like this. And let's hold that up here so you can see that a little bit closer. So you could do this, right? Or you could do this. So you get two different looks. So I'm actually going to do both. I'm going to show you that. Now, you could do this intentionally. I like a good asymmetrical design personally. So I think we should just do one of each and see how it looks. So I'm checking my sizing of the space I have there to get through that hole. And I think we don't need to be too super cautious there, but I am going to create a nice generous loop up top. I'm going to open that up. And again, if you don't like to wire wrap directly onto things, you're less comfortable with that, you could do your wire wrapping and then you can come in with a jump ring and add it. So I'm just going to do a couple of wraps there and then grab my cutters and let me take a look at my wraps. Not the best job there. Not the best wrapping known to man there, but that's okay. I'm also going to kind of straighten out my loop there a little bit. And there we've got our pretty little wrapped bead on our fanned piece. Now let's see how it actually looks on the other end of this piece. And you could do them both in the same direction, or you could do this kind of asymmetrical vibe here that we're coming up with. So I'm gonna do my little wire wrap loop, get that ready to go, open that up. And now I'm gonna work on this end. And this is certainly a dramatic component, whether you're going to use it the way we're using it here or, you know, both in the same direction. It's dramatic and it's bright and shiny and it's got that amazing texture. I'm going to come in and just fix up my work there just a little bit. And oh my goodness, look at that. Wowzers. Okay, so you choose how you want to design it. Let us know in the comments which version you would like, the fan up like this or the fan down, or would you go with this asymmetrical vibe? I'm going to take these ear wires. So these I believe are still in stock. They were at least at the time of me putting the show together. These are a really cool design. They have kind of an interesting swoop on them with your loop in the front. These are, you know, they're not the standard ear wire that you would normally see. they have a little bit of a different vibe to them. So I'm going to open up my loop with my chain nose, and I'm going to attach my component directly to it and make sure that that wire is, ooh, so that looks nice with that ear wire. So you're getting a little bit of a drop with that ear wire. I think I'm gonna love these. I think I'm gonna love these earrings, and I'm gonna love them asymmetrical. I do dig an asymmetrical earring. That's another thing that people notice. Like, I'll wear an earring pair out, and if they are asymmetrical, it's like people are looking. You could tell they're looking. So I might actually say something like, yeah, the earring is asymmetrical. It's an asymmetrical earring. It's not two different earrings. It's the same earring. They're just asymmetrical. So you can decide if you want to tell somebody or let them think about it. Let them think. So this side is a little harder to attach, but once you get that attached, it's all good. So that is really fun. Oh my goodness, now this one wants to be tricky on me. Come on now. Come on, come on. Oh, that one came off. Dang it. Okay. Sorry about that, you guys. Whew. Let's put that one back on here. So this one has a little bit of a point to it, but the way that that works should be just fine. So we've got two really cool, we've got one pair of really cool asymmetrical earrings here. This one might be my favorite. Now, there's all different kinds of things you could do with this earring style as well. You could add another bead up top. So if you wanted to, you could add another bead connected to the top that then connects to your ear wire. So this could be wire wrapped. Maybe you want to dangle some chain and have your bead be at the bottom of the chain. You could do a bunch of wire wrap beads dangling from that. So this is all about, whatever you want to do with some drama here, because these components are so very interesting and cool. And I think they're perfect for a night out on the town on New Year's Eve, or, maybe a trip to the store. So I'm going to put those away, those beads away. I also picked out these. I thought these were kind of fun for a fancy earring, or not so fancy, like it doesn't have to be for a fancy occasion. These are amazing connectors. These are 32 millimeter bar connectors with crystal embellishments. And they are so sparkly and divine. And the sparkles are on one side, the other side, they look, it looks like a nice high-end piece of jewelry where they leave the openings behind the stones. So I think that's pretty cool. That is a sign of quality. So this is beautiful, and it's a nice long bar. So let's take a look at how long these actually are. They're 32 millimeter, but they are width-wise, they're only like 5 millimeters wide. So they are really fun. They've got a hole at the top, hole at the bottom. You could very easily, if you don't want to do this as an earring, you could grab a piece of chain and a jump ring, attach one end to your chain, and put a little crystal round bead, maybe a 6 millimeter fire polish or something, maybe a teardrop, maybe one of these. This would be pretty. These are just, these beads are just, I'm so enamored of them, but look at that. So this has a little bit of a milky clear vibe that would look great with crystals. But what if we took these beads and added them to create an earring? So look at these. These have to be some of my most favorite beads. When I picked beads for this show, I was really gravitating towards ones that I loved. And I've used these beads before. These are definitely one of my all-time favorites. This luminous bead is just magic. This color is magic. So these are check rounds. They are 8mm and they're metallic suede pink. Now, I kind of think that these are a little bit more on the purple side. Just my opinion. They lean a little bit more towards purple, but they're a cool pink. And I absolutely love the finish. They look very planetary or celestial. And they actually tie nicely back to these little drops as well. So if you wanted to, you know, mix up the beads that you're going to grab out of the shopping bag. And oh, by the way, if you haven't shopped with us before, you can shop while you watch. There is a shopping bag icon on the screen. So you can pop into that at any time during the show. You can see all of the things I've got in the show today. And you can drop them into your own shopping cart, and you can even check out while you watch. So I don't go away, I just get smaller on the screen. And yeah, so you can take all of these beautiful things, mix and match them, and do all kinds of fun things with them. I mean, honestly, another thing you could do is for this cool thing. So what if you attached this to this and then added a bead to it? I mean, I love to take different metal components and put them together. That's my jam. I love the idea of that as well. So there's so many things that you can do. So this is a pretty chunky metal piece for me to wrap directly onto. So I'm going to go a little further up on to my round nose pliers. I just want a nice big loop so that I can get around that chunky component. And I'm going to open that up, you know, as if it were a, you know, a jump ring. And then I'm going to put that directly on to my component. So you see, it's still going to have some movement. That's just something just always be aware of when you're working with components and you're wire wrapping directly to them. You know, you'll want to make sure that your piece can actually have the movement. Whether it's an earring or it's a pendant, or, you know, it's something that just needs movement. Just remember, you don't want it to be too tight. So this is gonna, double checking, this is gonna dangle. It's gonna do its dangly thing. So I'm going to, actually grab this again and see if I can get it wrapped around one more time. And I haven't been necessarily doing my best work on my wraps today. Maybe it's too little coffee or too much, I'm not sure. So let me grab that guy. And then I might just do a little twisting of that loop. I want to get that wire tucked in there. So I probably would have tucked that in the back if I could have, but look at this combo. So you could use a pearl here, like a white pearl or a cream pearl. You could use a black bead, but look at this beautiful metallic finish bead. I mean, it's gorgeous. It's beautiful. I think it matches nicely with those beautiful rhinestones in this component. Now, you could also try to use this component this way. So I see a lot of bar pendants out there in the world. So you could attach jump rings here to a piece of chain, and boom, you have a bar necklace that should be a really spectacular piece. So again, I'm going to grab this piece, you know, pretty far up on my round nose, and give myself a nice generous loop. I'm going to open that up, and then I'm going to drop that piece, that little bar piece right on here. That's probably how I would create a necklace and then the matching earrings here. That would look pretty spectacular. So make one of these earring pairs and then grab a third bar and make a little bar necklace. And I bet you've got someone in your life who would really like that more simplistic piece of jewelry, that little simple, minimalist kind of vibe. I'm just going to tighten up that and straighten out that loop, and I still have that great movement. Now again, you have your ear wire choices, and there are many. You know, here's our kidney ear wire. Dare we consider this? And I'm going to actually put this one on this way through the long part of the earring. And this is actually just getting hung up just a touch. So look at the drama of this. So if you wanted a longer, more dramatic vibe, you could go with this long kidney ear wire, or for this guy, you probably need a little more space in your ear wire. So the way I handle that is I twist my ear wire open and I come up on my round nose, and I give myself a bigger space to work with, and I can remedy the bending that's going on there once I get it on. And you can drop that on, and you can push this together. So like that. And then I will come in and kind of play with straightening that out. If you have a coated set of pliers, it's probably better. So this is not a good example, but I have some flat nose pliers that are Wubbers. I don't believe we have any of these in stock, but I would play with these, and you know, so I kind of bent that up a little more than I would have liked, but that's an option. So you have a simple ear wire or a very exaggerated one. So depending on what you're going for, maybe you want your dangle to be a little shorter, maybe you want it to be a little bit longer and be more dramatic. So there's some earring ideas for you. Now, before I wrap things up, I have a few more things to show you, to give you some ideas, to give you some food for thought for making all the fun earrings, which you can do with all of the fun things that are here in the show. So here's some fun connectors that are made of wood. So these are 19 by 10 millimeter pointed oval cherry wood connectors. So made of cherry wood, and they are darker around the edges, and they have these very large, generous holes. And these would look really beautiful for maybe, you know, so we've got the full spectrum here. We've got some super fancy rhinestones. We've got, you know, some very gemmy looking earrings. We've got some very dramatic fans. But this might give you a little bit more of a rustic vibe. And so this is what I was thinking for these. You could get these check round beads. These are suede gold tanzanite, and they have this like speckled vibe. These are 8 millimeter, and they have a nice weight to them, but you could just take one and wrap it at the bottom. Or for those of you who love, you know, to do draping effects, you could take a couple pieces of chain and have it suspend this direction, and you could do similar to what we did here. Add a loop of beads below it and add some drops, maybe add one of the tanzanite beads in the center, or the you know, these suede gold tanzanite beads, or just simply put one of these on a head pin, and you've got a very simple but kind of rustic and bohemian vibe for those. So I love how those look. I also wanted to show you these. This particular size is out of stock. Since I picked these up, this one is out of stock. There is a much thinner version of this. It's a kite-shaped pendant. It's a beadable frame. And I believe Julie Bean did a design with these where she wrapped beads in the center, but you could also do a bead dangling at the center of this dip here. So right here, you could wire wrap a bead. You could wire wrap a few beads on either side and have a drop. You can wrap beads all the way up the side. The version that's in the show today, if it's still in stock, is a thinner, skinnier version, but you could still add beads to it, do all kinds of things. Honestly, this could be an instant earring. Put this on an ear wire and you've got a cool silver earring. So the other ones that are in the show are, I wish I had them. They're thinner and those would look really cool as an earring with nothing. A couple more things, you guys. These are D-ring connectors, which, you know, having a D name, I love that. So it looks like a D, but you wouldn't use it that way. These have 3 holes. So we've done some things with those 3 hole pieces. This one actually has 4, but you get the point. We also did our other earring that I have now set aside. Here we go. So we could do something similar to this with this kind of a component. This is a more elegant, this is a more modern vibe. So these are super cool. And again, you could connect it with chain up top and 1 bead at the bottom. Those D-ring connectors are 20 by 14 millimeter. And here's a connector that I only got 1 of. This could be a pendant, but it would also be fabulous as 2 earrings. So you could grab your little kidney ear wires or just a regular ear wire, and you could wire wrap on a bead. So the beads that I have in the show today would work great. This would also be another cool bead that would look good at the bottom here. This is a crackle bead. It's a check round crackle bead, and this is an 8 millimeter. It's rosaline. And I like the idea of matching a crackle bead to this faceted crystal because that crackling adds a crystal vibe to this piece. So that's another option. And one more bead that I have in the show that would be really pretty. So we did with this piece, we added the little small beads. You could also use this bead. This is a really beautiful matte bead. So this is called Pacifica Fig. And this is a check round bead in 4 millimeter. And it has just a really beautiful luminous finish to it. So if you want to go with something like that with your drop, super cool. So you guys, we did a lot of fun things with earrings today. Lots of fun possibilities for you. I hope that you will pick up some pieces and parts to make some beautiful fun earrings for yourself or for your friends. Have an earring party with your friends. Invite all the girls over, all your jewelry making beady pals, and make some fun earrings. Have an earring making party. And the options are endless. And I'd love for you to, you know, post these out on your social media. We'll find you. Use a hashtag, you know, Beadahlique. And maybe we can dig up some of these photos and other folks can see some of the fun things that you made. I'm going to flip up the camera and give you a proper goodbye. Okay, everybody, I hope those were some fun and inspiring earring projects for you. And of course, I always like to throw in other ideas along the way. That's just how I do. I'm going to put on my favorite pair of earrings, and that's these fun fan earrings that we did the asymmetrical design with. And I love the asymmetrical vibe of these, and I love the color of the beads, and I love the shininess of the components and the texture of the components. These are really fun earrings. You just can't you can't tear me away from fun components, fun connectors. That's a fun earring, right? So you guys, don't forget to close out your carts. If you have things in your cart, know that if you go and walk away, walk the dog or something and come back, things could be gone. So everything in your cart is limited supply because Beadahlique is closing. So make sure that you get what you want home to you or on its way to you. And there's so many fun ideas here for gift giving. So if you get them in the mail right away, maybe you've got a chance to do a few before the big day, the big holiday. So I thank you all for being here today. Thank you so much for watching. We so appreciate you. And Julie will be here on Thursday for a live show. So I'm sure she has something really fun planned for you. And I'll be back next Tuesday. So I hope all of you have a wonderful rest of your week, a great weekend, and I'll see you